We're here, end of day one, take two here.
Elite Eight duels.
Thanks to Scrappy.
Day one.
Sorry, my mother called. Love you, Mom. But shut up. Bonkers day one.
Yes.
No, it was great, right? So let's start at the top. Each team had 4 duels.
Yep.
Right? Round one, probably the single best duel. Back and forth was Roundtree versus Beast Coast.
Yep.
Beast Coast ended up winning by criteria.
Most matches won. They had 8 to Roundtree 7, which is what I like about having 15 matches instead of 14. Is if that's the criteria, you will never have to go to 9th criteria. Like,
Right.
Yeah. Although with bonus points, it could mathematically, but very rarely,
No, I'm saying,
would it
like,
ever work out.
if
that's the first criteria, you're done.
You'll never go past that.
Correct. All right, so
Math.
Math.
You know, that's reason I want to be a history teacher.
All right, so besides
I
that,
can't count to C.
Minions rolled.
Yes.
Right. Seabolt rolled in that opening round,
which
and who was the other team that rolled?
Vision Quest
beat Black
beat
Mambas
Black
42.
Mambas.
And I'll say this: I was doing commentary live on that duel. I was pleasantly surprised at I knew Vision Quest was gonna be good. Of course, I knew some names on there. Obviously, we talked about Joe Seeley in the preview, but just seeing them come out against a Black Mambas team that I mentioned Black Mambas in our preview. They put a beating on me. They were like 45-21 or 42-25.
Yeah.
Vision Quest is sneaky good.
Yes, they are.
All right, so that was round one, and in that round,
Can we all agree that the match of round one was Bartelt and Stewart?
There's no doubt that was.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And
It
Bartelt
lived up
beat
to
him.
it. Yes.
6-4, and it was just a fantastic match. I mean,
absolutely.
unbelievable.
I wish I'd watched it. I wish. That's one of those that I'm like, damn, I wish I was in commentary.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the challenges is that, there were so many different things that happened throughout the course of the day, and you're over on mat 1. You can see mat 4, but you may not pay attention to it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But you're focused, you're focused on your
On
duel.
it.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
All right, so we moved to round 2, and again, Minions beat Roundtree fairly handily, right?
Roundtree had their wins. They had their dogs. I mean, we talked about Bartelt, Bartelt, excuse me.
Beat Sasso.
He beats ranks number 1.
Right.
But even beyond it, he beats ranks number 1 and 2 today. If we get out of this tournament, and Bartelt should be number 1. He beat rank 1 and number 2 in back-to-back matches.
All right, so we're now talking about Bartelt, but
sorry, I just had to mention that.
Let's actually
that was a madness.
Let's talk about Jake Krabs on Roundtree, who won 18-18 against Jax Forrest, or was it Jax Forrest?
I wasn't.
Cole Hunt.
Cole Hunt, yeah, that's the matchup,
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking just a shootout.
No, it wasn't Cole Hunt.
It was Jax Forrest?
Jax, because
Okay.
Cole Hunt, he bumped somewhere. I remember there was a lot of chatter Roundtree.
All I know is that
area.
I love the chatter.
all over.
I love it. I love the chirping.
Yeah, Cole Hunt bumped. I don't know the story behind it. I don't know if they thought it was better for the team or not, but Jax did go up
and wrestled him.
Yeah. And looked good. It was a really fun match, but what kept on happening is Krabs kept on getting into that single, and Jax just kind of would drape over, wouldn't look to score, and was kind of wrestling like a folk style position, and was just kind of draped over. And then second period, Krabs kind of started figuring out that, hey, I can just elevate and go back with it, and literally did it. I mean, 5 or 6 times.
And came back in the match?
Yeah, came back.
Yeah, I remember he was losing
got
when
into that
I
position,
peeked over.
and Jax would just kind of drape over, and he'd be working back there.
But
Krabs finally figured out that if I just come up, sit up straight to both knees and go straight
An exposure,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, and he kept on just getting two. It was some crazy. It was a lot of fun of a freestyle match, and why I love it because it literally went two, like 3 or 4 times.
It ended up being, what, 18-18?
18-18.
And
worry.
Krabs scored last?
Don't worry, we'll later get to some football scores, but that's
Yeah.
God. Yeah, we'll get to one later. Don't
All
worry
right,
about
so
it.
for round 2, what were you on?
I was on 3 for the first 2. I got to see in round 2 Black Mambas and
Compound?
Yes, Compound. Yes.
Okay. All right. Was
Black
there
Mambas
anything that
won
was
that one
interesting?
15.
Dominant
17.
performance for Compound. I will say
For Mambas.
Mambas, Mambas. Reese Jones getting a win over Bolselman in. I think he went down 3-0. End of the first period comes.
Yep.
Him and Josh, they make an adjustment or two, and Reese Jones had one of the most underrated days of the tournament. When you look at who he beat, yes, it's not the higher, you can make the case it's not the higher profile guys, but he beat some really, really good guys today. And did it wrestling his style of wrestling, and that's what I love to see, especially have a guy I know like Reese Jones.
So the round 2 that was surprising to me was how handily Seabolt hammered Vision Quest.
Yeah.
I mean,
46.
I said it in our preview. Seabolt is
beat 'em.
Seabolt's coming for blood. Seabolt is coming to make a point out of these teams. Like they are looking, they are coming here to not win this. They're making a statement this weekend.
It's been a business trip this whole time for them. Like, they've handled it, and
and I'm telling you something.
they've been wrestling great.
I
But
can't wait to
bumping
see.
round 3 here.
round 3,
Yeah.
Roundtree beats Team Cali.
Yep.
Right.
And I moved to that mat for this. My match of that mat was if it's the match I'm thinking of, yes, Omar at Ayub, excuse me, and Kaysen Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
An 11-6 match, but a weird 11-6 match because Ayub went up, Rourke came back, Ayub came back again and secured the win. It was a super back and forth match because in a similar thing you were talking about, Ayub kept scoring in that Iranian wizard chair position, and it took Rourke making the adjustment, and then he started scoring there, and then Ayub, a savvy wrestler that he is, he readjusted and ended up scoring again a little bit at the end. It was a super fun match to watch and commentate.
So in that match that I was not, I don't want to say I was surprised about, but Abden beat Bambinelli like 10-0.
Bambinelli looked off today as a whole. I love Bambinelli, and I'll say it because I said it to him earlier in the day. He just looked off today.
Yeah.
He didn't look like the Dominic Bambinelli I know and love to watch.
Right.
Minions hammered Beast Coast.
Doesn't surprise
I
me.
mean, it wasn't close, right? Seabolt beat Mambas, but Mambas were in the match.
I said it before the tournament that Mambas is one of those teams that they have their guys, and if all their guys perform, they Beast Coast tomorrow could beat some teams they shouldn't if all their guys perform. They absolutely
Now,
could.
I do want to go back to the Minions
Okay.
match
Apologies,
for
yes.
just a second. Jax Forrest over Christian Fretwell, 10-0.
Yeah.
That was the the match of that duel for me. Jax looked solid.
So, is Jax the North Carolina kid who's looked the best on day one?
No.
No.
Okay, who's
No,
looked the best on day one?
I agree 1,000%. I saw.
If we're counting him as a North Carolina kid.
Okay.
If we're counting him as a North
Where
Carolina kid.
where did he emerge from his mother?
What? Huh?
Where did he emerge from his mother? That's
right,
the question.
that is-
That's the question.
Man, okay.
You better not cut this. You better not cut this.
I just might. But anyways.
No,
So-
leave it.
All right. So the one match in that match was Cosgrove beating Pettigrew.
Yes, I heard about that. I didn't see it myself.
Another person who's looked absolutely fantastic. We're not surprised by it, but Cody Chittum.
I mean, lights out.
He really, against really good competition, has wrestled super, right? Just super.
Absolute monster.
All right, and then in round 4, we had a bunch of cross pool matches.
Which was our
And
first
who'd you
taste
have?
of that. I was right here, right behind us with Beast Coast and Compound.
And
Beast Coast looks really good. Just some good performances in that duel. There was a hell of a match between Sam Harris and and Cal Miller.
oh, it was.
Cal Miller went up,
And then Harris came back and was up, right?
and Harris was up big at one point. I think he was up like 10-4, and then Harris got called a couple times for double hands to the back of the neck. Cliff Fretwell with my quote of the day. Can we just agree that's the dumbest rule in all of wrestling? Love you, Cliff. And then Cal just kind of roared back. I think it finished like 12-10, and it was a fantastic back and forth match. Like Sam Harris looked really good, and Cal Miller obviously had the composure to come back and looked amazing. But
So in that duel, I think the Buzakis did rock paper scissors to see who got the win. Is that the way that worked? Nick
think so.
Nick won on the rock paper scissors
Something
over
like that.
Vince. I don't know if that's true. I don't think actually they wrestled.
I know
right?
it's a double forfeit.
Right. So talk the last duel, Seabolt versus Roundtree in this last one. Back and forth. Craps came out of nowhere, pinned Justaroga. But let's talk about your heavyweight from North Carolina looking really
talk about
good.
him. I saw him earlier today. He looked amazing. So
I was talking
Floor is
to I was
yours.
talking to Roundtree about it earlier. Jameer has the highest ceiling, I think, in the state right now. I think Jeremiah Price is the best kid we have in the state, hands down.
Really?
I don't think there's a question about it right now. Jeremiah Price, especially the way that he has wrestled today.
Yeah, but
Joe
Seeley's not in the
Carolina.
state.
Oh, I thought you were counting it. My bad.
He is well.
He counted him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. Like, are you counting
He
him or not?
is from North Carolina. In national events, he has wrestled under North Carolina, and so as he continues
But
to
a
do
kid
that,
who
we
has
will claim
wrestled
him.
the state
But,
tournament in.
but a North Carolina, a current North Carolina
Gotcha.
guy.
Okay, now I get
think
your logic.
Jameer, has the highest ceiling right now going into college. Man, just his low-level attacks. He had a low single.
Yeah, for a heavyweight.
He had a
heavyweight
couple
weight
nasty
moves.
Lolos that I was really like, oh,
Yeah.
hello.
And he got pinned in the team in the Cali duel, but it was a weird situation that just him he's never really wrestled freestyle, and so he gets in that quad pod situation. Kick
And he
goes
doesn't
like
really
cradle,
know.
Cradle,
doesn't
yeah.
really doesn't really pay attention
and
to
it doesn't help that
and
Glass
gets
is
that roll fall.
6'5".
That exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
right.
Like that was
But
another thing that
locks
like,
up that cradle. Jameer kind of doesn't really start fighting that grip a lot because he's thinking, folk style, whatever, what he's used to, and gets there, ends up getting stuck, but was dominating the whole match.
All right.
Had some beautiful takedowns all day.
Oh, yeah,
Jameer's looked
he's
awesome. But Jeremiah Price has also looked.
Except for his match with Chittum. And he still wrestled Chittum tough.
But I mean, it's Cody Chittum.
Yeah, no,
I think
know.
anyone in the building would have to have a crowbar in their sock to beat Chittum.
Right, because he wrestles you like in that phone book.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
They'd
doubt.
have to hit him with a crowbar, and I still think that they're going to have issues.
If we're gonna talk, I'm gonna say this: a team that has surprised me coming out the gate. Roundtree surprised me a little bit. Like I knew that they were good. Obviously, when we look at paper, but to see them actually finally put it together and wrestle here today, they've looked really good today, and they've looked.
I agree with that.
Better than I expected. And going into tomorrow, a little segue into what you wanted to talk
Yeah.
about next. They draw Vision Quest round 1.
Yeah.
And boy,
That's
from
the
100 to the big fellas, popcorn, bunch of crunch. I got my 3D goggles and I got a pop and I'm refilling it in the middle. Like,
so them and Beast versus Mambas,
oh, that's gonna
right?
be some
Those
fun.
are the two opening round matchups, upper round duels.
Hey, if anybody's listening, I'm calling to commentate Roundtree Vision Quest tomorrow. I'm calling that.
Yeah, I don't think
call
you're.
that
I don't think
one.
you make that
You're
call.
low man.
No, they asked me first. No, Corby asked me first today. I call that one. I wanna
Especially
hear-
since you haven't seen Vision Quest.
I don't care. And now you gotta. That's the
You
second.
can't commentate
time.
Vision
That's
Quest.
the second video you put me on
can't
black. That's the
commentate
second.
Vision Quest without
Anytime I
watching
talk to you,
Vision
is that going to come up anytime I talk to you?
Absolutely.
All right.
Whoopee.
So just to, everybody has an idea. Minions, Compound, Vision Quest, Roundtree, Topside, right?
Logos.
Beast, Mambas, Cali, and Seabolt. We have it set up, not surprisingly, for Minions and Seabolt to take care of business and meet each other in the final.
It was very surprising yesterday when the team draw happened, how kind of perfectly even the pools played out. I was kind of surprised by that because I was expecting to see in a pool like Minion, Vision Quest, and whoever. But it worked out so perfectly that all roads lead to a Minion Seabolt matchup, which is, in my opinion, and I think this is fair to say, the two best looking teams. And
After day one.
that's it, like and the teams that have done the most talking to each other, and I want to see this, because Seabolt, we talked about it a minute ago. Seabolt is looking for blood. They have made this a business trip. They're looking to make a statement, and Minions is defending the Southeast in that kind of a scenario. I'm just excited.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
As am I. Yes, 1,000%.
I'll tell you what, man. That Seabolt versus Roundtree duel got
Ooh,
feisty. It got feisty. It
Some
was good.
chirping.
It was.
I
good.
love some chirping.
It was. All right, so let's wrap this up with a couple things. Number one, if you're really interested in individual matchups or individual results, you can go to elite8duels.com, and it has a bunch of the rounds and all of that information. We get started at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. All right, and let's finish this with one kid or one whatever from each of you that really stood out that was your kid that you thought wrestled the best today. Rhett, why don't you start? Or do you don't want to start?
Yes, no, he starts.
It's gotta be it's gotta be Krebs. It's for me.
Okay.
Just as an over. I mean, I hate to not pick a North Carolina kid here, If I'm picking a North Carolina kid, I'm going with Jameer just because I really think he has showed how high his ceiling is. But for the whole tournament, that round 4 win for Craps
was pretty special.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Biggest pop of the whole day.
This place got loud.
Got loud. I was sitting there working on a video and heard it, popped up, and caught the celebration of it. But it's got to be Craps for me.
If I can't pick Jake Craps, I'm gonna pick a guy that I've been super high on for a year or two, and watching him today because the last time I saw him in person, he was but a bitty 8th grader in the Roundtree wrestling room at a camp. Joe Seeley, man. I knew how good he was. Obviously, you're a Super 32 finalist. You're win national preps. You're good. But watching him today, he wrestled Ladarian Lockett out of Beast or Black Mamas, and Ladarian is a stud. Don't get this twisted. Ladarian can bang, and Joe Seeley walked him down and took care of business.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Seeley looks. This is the best Joe Seeley I've ever seen, and I'm telling you, if you want a Georgia comparison, he is young Jackson Smith. The way he wrestles is he's so slick and so clean, but if he wanted, he could put a hole in your chest and put that hole in your chest in the 9th row.
Yeah.
And super savvy,
And one thing that's really impressive about Joe is he can get a 10-0 tech. Dominate every bit of it and be mad.
Yes. I love his facial expressions in the match.
And not be happy with his performance.
All right.
And I absolutely love that. But let's hear yours.
Yeah, so I think that I think probably the best kid in the building is Chittum, but I'm not gonna go with Cody. I'm gonna go with Sawyer Bartelt because he beat TJ 6'4". He beat Sonny Kling. He beat
Sasso.
He beat Sasso, who he avenged the loss to. They lost to in Fargo. You know what? I don't know that anyone, and you guys made really good points with yours, but anybody had a better day.
I agree with that 100%.
So Sawyer Bartelt, and this is the best thing, is because of where they sit in the bracket, in all likelihood, he's gonna run into somebody again that he beat today. So we're gonna get that. We got to run that back. Because imagine...
I want to see that TJ Stewart match again.
I don't know if it's going to work out. It might.
I don't know if it'll work out, but I want to see it. Can we just make it happen?
Well, no.
Hey, Cliff, can we just make that happen?
Can we get...
No problem.
And can we put every 152... Can we just put all the 152s in a Thunderdome?
That's right.
Just lock him in a phone booth so he comes out?
Yes, genuinely, all of them. But I don't disagree. The match I want to see... Jessaroga and Craps again. It's not going to happen because of the way, at least in all likelihood, but I want to see a full 6-minute war between those two.
Yeah. All right, I guess the final thing, because I said it was already the final thing. Who wins? Does day one change your pick? At the beginning,
it does
you picked
for me.
Seabolt?
I went with Seabolt. Man, if round...
My pick has changed.
Seabolt.
Who's yours?
I'm staying with Seabolt. The way that they've still continued to handle business, man.
I've wrestled for Team Minion since I was in 6th grade, and I love me some Team Minion. But holy hell, Seabolt looked good.
All right.
No, I'm rocking with Minion, but it's close. That duel was even closer than I thought.
Minion or Seabolt?
Minion, final answer. Put me down for it. God, Seabolt looks good.
And I'll go with the Minions as well.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I like it.
Tomorrow at 9 a.m., we get Elite 8 duels, Rockfin, dropping into here at the Cobb Center if you're in town. And man, we're going to have a blast tomorrow. Today was a fantastic time. All right? Cool.
We're out.
Peace.